Previously on Balls.
Oh. I don't think there is a sporting event that can come close to the final at the Masters generally, and particularly not after yesterday. Mark Immelman,
Darren Scott.
how you doing?
Oh man, I'm great. How are you?
Wow, I'm a little tired because I wasn't going to miss a thing. I watched from the time that they started their broadcast till the time that they finished their broadcast, and it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know what? The Augusta National Golf Club and the Masters tournament just, every year I was thinking about it this morning. They just managed to somehow come up with the best storylines, and all the other major championships are great, but just the Masters just somehow finds a way on Sunday afternoon here to just make it just so riveting. It's incredible.
I know, and it's you almost think, it's the old commentator's cliche, but they say it every year. Says it hasn't started yet till the back nine, and you think, no. I mean, there have been 1 or 2 years, and I think when your brother Trevor won it, I think that was a year where people were kind of expecting him to fall apart, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So that kind of went against the tradition. But, you're sitting there looking at Jason Day going, okay, you've kind of been there or thereabouts, but do you have the experience? You look at some of these guys going, something's going to go here. And it's exactly what happened again. I mean, everyone had a little bit of a wobble, and had a comeback. And it was typical Masters drama as they do every year. That back nine, it's got to be one of the best sporting spectacles in any sport.
Yeah, it is. And to your point, guys having a little bit of a wobble, it was our conversation last week where, we both made mention of the fact that to win at Augusta National, you've got to kind of have had success there before. And you watch the guys that moved forward. Adam had finished second there before 2 years ago to Charles. So the guys that moved forward on the last few holes were the guys that have done well there before, and the guys that backed up some.
Yeah.
You get to start projecting, and then the course just although the rain yesterday did soften it a little bit, it wasn't as fiery as it normally is. Those guys sort of backed up a little bit, and in the end, Adam Scott, what a deserving winner, what a great addition to the Masters Club.
Yeah, I mean, him and Jason Day actually were lurking behind Charles the year that he won it. So it's not like either of those two haven't been there or thereabouts. But you talk about the rain. I mean, you'd think that would sort of make golfers breathe a little easier at Augusta because those greens are so treacherous and so quick. And you'd think everyone would go, well, it's a bit of a relief. It's slowed everything down a little bit. At least we can hit a few putts. But no one could get it to the hole. It made life a lot harder for everyone.
Well, the final round hole locations are a lot tougher than I think television do justice for the watchers and the listeners in South Africa. And, they put on these little plateaus and stuff that, when the greens are firm and dry, getting the ball up those slopes is not too big a deal. But, with yesterday, the ball's going to stick where it lands, and the guys were struggling to get it close with certain hole locations, and then the pressure, and then, putting them up some of those slopes to the holes were a little tough, and that's why guys were leaving putts short. Now, if you had a downhiller, they were still pretty hairy. And to Adam Scott's credit, he actually admitted in his post-round presser that, he scared himself on the putting green. He hit his first few downhill putts, and he said that was part of the reason why he left a whole bunch of putts short early in the round.
Yeah.
But then he said he just resolved around the turn to start to get a little bit aggressive and to just try and get some putts by the hole, and lo and behold, we have a new champion.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of sitting there going, because Angel Cabrera, he just seemed like a really, really cool guy. And I was sitting there, first of all, was kind of rooting for him, but secondly, also loving the fact that Aussie had never won the Masters. This sort of Aussie South African thing. Thinking, I don't want them to break that duck. So I was kind of rooting for Cabrera all the way along. But I mean, literally, look, he had it to win, and Adam left the door open for him even in that playoff a couple of times, and he didn't shut it, and that's what cost him.
Yeah, and look, to Angel, he's just you're right, he's a great guy. He's so much fun. His interaction with Scotty going down number 10 when Adam hit it inside him and he turned around and gave him the thumbs up, that was pretty special, really. And it's indicative of who the man is.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, that shot that he hit into the 18th hole under that pressure in regulation play, to hit that thing basically stiff and force extra holes, that was pretty special in itself. And it's, to me, it indicates just the strength of the world game. I mean, if Angel's ranked 260-something in the world going into the tournament, to show you what these guys have got, when they're at the top of their game, just illustrates for the golfing public how good, this generation of players are.
Just explain to me why Angel goes down the same hole, puts it in the same spot, and hits a completely different shot in the playoff.
It's some nerves. Maybe he caught it slightly heavy. TV doesn't. The lies I had to have expected, because where he was on 18, obviously the slope from down the green to down the fairway is quite vicious. So whatever moisture there was gathering was starting to gather down there in the fairway. And you never know. He might have had a slightly dampish lie, and he caught the ball slightly heavy. Because he had it on line, and as soon as he hit it, you could see he looked a little disappointed with one. So I think it was a mishit.
Yeah. Well, you never knew with him, because sometimes you start shouting at himself after you hit a shot. You think he shanked this, and then he put it to 5 meters.
He's entertaining that way, but that's why he's the everyman's champion too. He's just like the guys you'd go and see on a Saturday afternoon after a few beers. He's lots of fun. He's talkative to his golf ball. I thought it was great that he had his son on the bag caddying for him. I mean, what an experience for the two of them to share together.
Yeah.
So he is kind of the everyman's golfer, and hits it hard and finds it and puts it in the hole. So he's good fun to watch.
Yeah. Just your thoughts and maybe clear up a little bit about the Tiger issue. I don't know. What did he actually do? Because he was unfortunate. First of all, they hit the flag and went into the water. Then he took a drop, but clearly he dropped it behind the spot where he'd originally played the ball. But now we're having a discussion, and the discussion was you can take it as far back as long as it's between the line of the of where you played it, or the point that went into the water, and the tee. Is that correct?
Well, yes, it is. You've got three options. You can play it from where you originally played it, close to that spot. You can play it from the drop zone that was short and left of 15 hazard there. Or you could go back on the line that the ball entered the hazard, keeping the flagstick in line as far as possible. And if you will remember, the ball hit the flagstick and caromed off down the front left. So back for him would have been backing into the rough in an area with a lot of trees. So he didn't have that option. So he wanted to go back to where he was playing from, but the mistake that he made was he went back a couple paces from the original spot. Now, you're supposed to drop it as close to the spot as possible. Now, and then what got him was in his post-round interviews, he's like, I went 2 yards back and I tried to take 2 yards off the shot because you'd like that to land short and jump up. So he basically gave away his intentions, which to me illustrated, I don't know if it was ignorance of the rules, and I don't think ignorance is an excuse, but it certainly illustrated that he wasn't abiding by the rules. And personally, I think he got off light there. I think he should have got DQ'd, an incorrect scorecard. It took a bad drop, but he signed the scorecard for the wrong score afterward. But then there was this new rule that was imposed last year by the USGA that's protecting players against, call-ins, because people on TV with high-def TV see more than what a lot of the players and stuff do. So he got away with it a little bit over there. So you'll never know. If maybe his ball misses the flag and he hits it close and makes a birdie, it's a different story. But to me, it's rub of the green. I mean,
that's
every golfer, they've had breaks like that, and for every shot you had carom off the flag in the hazard, you probably had one that bounced off the tree back into a fairway. So
as happened yesterday as well with a couple of players. So that's what the game's all about. Mere mortal gets DQ'd. Tiger gets 2 shots. Do you think if it was anybody else, it would have been DQ'd?
I'm going to dodge that question there, Darren.
Mark? Because it's not the first time this has happened. I think, remember, when he put onto a roof of some clubhouse at some time, he also decided to make his own ruling, and they went with it a couple of years ago. So,
it depends on what side of the Tiger fan club you sit. Folks that are on his side say, it was only fair. Folks that are kind of anti-Tiger will tell you that he got away with one, and it's because he's Tiger Woods. So, as Tiger would say, it is what it is. I think in the end, we still have a tremendous champion in Adam Scott, and it's a guy that's, he's been a superstar in waiting. He's got it all, and I just think, I hope for him that this kicks him on to even more greatness, because he's certainly got the tools.
All right, just lastly, Trevor got off to a good start, and we thought, wow, Trevor's back. And obviously he has an affinity for the course, as we've seen. I mean, even your boy, Larry Myers, got off to a fairly decent start as well. So, again, people that have done well there will generally come back and have an affinity for the course. How did Trevor feel about his 4 rounds in total?
We spent a lot of time after the first round and had dinner together, and he was obviously excited being bogey free on the first day, and us And I said to him, considering, early in the week he was working hard, but he didn't feel that sharp. And, on the first nine he said to me, he goes, I got away with a few, and then on the back nine I started to hit it really nicely. And so I smiled at him, and he goes, it feels like I'm coming home here.
That's nice.
And so when he said that to me, I was like, oh, look out. In 2008 when he won, he had shot 68 in the first day. And then in the second round, he got off to a neat start. He was 1 under through 3 and 5 under and 1 off the lead. And, I thought it was visions of 2008. And then, hit the ball on the wrong sides of the flags a few times and got himself into spots where he couldn't have legitimate putts. And really over the last few holes, it was not necessarily the ball striking that let him down, but he certainly wasn't sharp on the greens like he should have been. So I think bittersweet for him. After that start, he'd like to have kicked it on. But, bearing in mind that he's missed a few cuts leading in here, at least he got himself on the leaderboard and got the juices flowing. So, coming up this week in Hilton Head, I hope he kicks it on.
Well, we're always watching, always keeping an eye on Trev, and we look forward to that, that form that we know he can play with coming back as well. So please send our best to him when you speak to him again. And thank you for your time this afternoon, Mark. All the best, and look forward to catching up with you again sometime, talk about things golf.
Yeah, listen, and just one more thing, my dear friend.
Yes.
There was this little rugby game on Saturday that...
Breaking up here, Mark. Now listen, when you focus on the Masters, just focus on the Masters. Next thing now I see you tweeting, deflecting your attention away to rugby. I mean, come on now. Yeah, well done.
I'm a South African at heart, and when the Stormers beat the Sharks, it's always a good day, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah.
Not forgetting the Kings, Mark.
Well, forget about the Kings. All right, Mark. Well, thanks for joining us today, bud. All the best. We'll catch up soon, eh?
You guys too. Take
Cheers,
care.
Man.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. There we go. Mark Immelman joining us from the USA post-Masters, talking about Adam Scott and Tiger Woods and his own book, Trevor Immelman. Go and podcast.
This is Balls Visual Radio. Darren, Simon, Kate and John. Weekdays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central African Time. Balls.co.za